To tell the story of the 2021 ESM volleyball season, you really have to start 3 years back. The 2019 team started with a lot of promise. They had some strong senior players, as well as this group of current seniors who were sophomores at the time. There was a lot of promise about how good they could ultimately be, but no one knew exactly how good they could be. The season started off with 2 tough losses, one to Connecticut and one to Sachem North, who ended up being the number 2 team in the state. So after starting the season 1-2, something happened. They kept winning. And winning. And winning. In fact, after those first 2 defeats, they did not lose again. They finished 12-2 and were ranked number 2 in the county going into the playoffs. They faced the tough and determined number 7 seed Smithtown West in the first round. There was such excitement and anticipation and eagerness of how far this playoff run could go. But in Smithtown West, they found a foe who was incredibly intent on spoiling ESM's run. Sadly, the game did not go as ESM hoped it would. Smithtown West played incredibly well and hard and defeated ESM in straight sets. It was a crushing defeat. This group of seniors was their last high school game they would ever play. And for the underclassmen, the season did not end the way that they had hoped. It ended way too soon, and it hurt. It hurt a lot.
Yeah, that game was a rough one. They had a great team. I felt like I left the seniors down after their last season and their last game, and I obviously had another chance to play volleyball, but they're gonna miss it, and I'm gonna miss playing with them. So.
But for all the underclassmen, there was a lot of hope. In fact, there was so much hope of what they could become. They could not wait to get back to work and see what they could accomplish over the next 2 seasons. The journey felt like, in some ways, it was just beginning.
The hope for the next 2 years was nothing less than winning every single game and winning a couple championships. I mean, the loss was tough, but we just had to keep going and get better for the next 2 years. We had a really good squad, coming back with 5 sophomores that are only going to be juniors, and those are all going to be in the starting lineup. So I thought we were going to be really good.
And then the world shut down.
When COVID shut down everything, I felt defeated in a way.
After the Smithtown West loss, we were ready to take over. But then COVID hit. We're all devastated because we really wanted to become the best.
Like most things in 2020, high school sports were canceled, or at least postponed indefinitely. But when it was safe, they started practicing in the backyard until they got the news that the season was back.
It felt amazing.
It's game time.
It was exciting.
Happy?
Very determined.
Exciting. Domination.
So off they went and embarked on what should have been the 2020 season, but it was in the spring of 2021. everyone was so thrilled to be back playing volleyball. But, as with most things that year, it didn't go quite the way they had hoped. Their two starting outside hitters, Jake and Mark, could not play the first 4 matches due to COVID protocols. Despite that incredible hurdle, the team did start 4-0. But now, with Jake and Mark back, the team started rolling. As they have become quite accustomed to, they did a lot of winning. The only 2 exceptions that season were to Lindenhurst, who finished the season undefeated at 14-0, and to a Smithtown West team, who ESM lost to in 5 sets. They finished the season 12-2, and headed into the county playoffs as the top seed. Because of all the New York State COVID restrictions, the playoffs would be limited only to the county playoffs this season. So the furthest ESM could go is to win the county championships, where they would play crosstown rival West Hampton Beach, whose team was full of a lot of top-level talent and was always a formidable opponent. In the first set of the county final, ESM got off to a really slow start. The score was 3-8 to start the match. But then they settled in nicely to the match and took the first set. However, the second set went to West Hampton Beach's favor. The match was tied 1-1 going into the third set. In the end, ESM simply would not be denied. They won set 3 and won set 4 to be the Suffolk County champions.
After all the stress and things that happened this year, and with COVID happening, I think once we finally won that game against West Hampton, we were just all overjoyed and happy to have done something that seemed completely impossible, including the fact that at the beginning of the season, we weren't sure if we were even going to have a season. But to get to that point and win it all just felt amazing, and it was a great sigh of relief for all of us. But we all knew deep down that this wasn't the end goal.
The goal was, and always had been, to become state champions. And now they had one last time to give it a go.
The expectation for senior year was nothing less than winning every single game and going undefeated.
The expectations going into senior year was to be nothing short of the best. The goal was to win states, and we were going to do whatever we had to do to get there. It was just to work our butt off every day, grind, and get the job done.
Going into the beginning of this season, restrictions were mostly lifted, fans were back, and the game was on. However, once again, the season did not quite start the way that they had hoped. ESM was a team without a home. Their home gym was being renovated, and so they had to play in a small local elementary school gym. They ended up winning 3-1 over Sachem North in a tough match. But what was notable was the third set. They lost 21-25. The reason it was notable is how the remainder of the season played out. At the time, it was just an ordinary win in which you dropped a set, but no one, not even the players, could have seen what was going to happen next and how the remainder of the season would play out, and how significant that third set, that first match against Sachem North would prove to be on the whole of the season. As the season went on, there was something very different about this year's team. They just seemed to not want to lose. They didn't want to lose anything, even a set. Their defense just seemed at a different level. The block party that night at Smithtown East, where everybody was invited. They were facing good teams, even teams that came in undefeated, and they weren't letting sets drop. They just kept winning set after set after set. There was also that incredibly special night against Sachem East, when our beloved Coach Kropp was going for his 400th career high school win. And on that night, ESM in straight sets got their coach his 400th win. There were some nights where not only did they not want to lose, they just simply didn't want the ball to ever hit the ground. As the season continued, the wins kept piling up. The sets kept piling up. Set after set after set. 5 in a row. 10 in a row. 15 in a row. 20 in a row. They just kept rolling. ESM not only finished the regular season at 14-0, they finished the regular season with 40 straight set victories. This set them up going into the county playoffs as the #1 seed and would eventually face their crosstown rival West Hampton Beach one more time in the county championship.
Going into the county finals, we knew that we would face ESM, second time in the same calendar year, and we've played them 3 times before already, so we knew what to expect. On paper, ESM was obviously the better team, but we weren't afraid of that. We knew that we had a game plan and we were going to stick to it, and we were going to just come out and fight.
They say familiarity breeds contempt. When it comes to the familiarity ESM had with West Hampton, what it bred was really tough, hard-fought matches. And this 2021 Suffolk County Final was no different. ESM won the first 2 hard-fought sets. In the 3rd set, ESM was up 24-16, but West Hampton proved their incredible grit and charged all the way back, but just fell short, and ESM became 2-time defending Suffolk County champions.
After the match, this was the outcome that the world was kind of expecting. It was not the outcome that we were expecting. It's not surprising, but it's what we did everything we could in our power to avoid.
But at the end of the day, we did literally everything that we possibly thought we could do, and we just came up short. And what does that tell us? That tells us that ESM was just, bar none, the better team. And at the end of the day, that's just something that we had to live with.
Next up on ESM's mission to get to the state finals was the Long Island Championship versus the Nassau County champion, Roslyn. ESM defeated Roslyn in straight sets to become the Long Island champions. Now headed to Albany for the state finals.
4 states, we watched some highlight reel tapes and watching the teams up there. And one in particular, Spencerport, I saw that most of their team was pretty big. They were like an exact like replica of our team. They were all like really big, and when they hit the ball, it was always around blocks or over blocks. Like everything was just in a good spot. Like they knew how to play volleyball really well, and it just kind of brought like a little fear into like how I was going up the states with our team. But I knew that we could come out.
Aiden, were you afraid of Spencerport?
At first, when I saw those highlight reel tapes, I was a little scared. Yeah.
Afraid or not, one thing was for sure. ESM volleyball team was ready. This is what they had been working towards and dreamed of. And here they were at the state finals. The New York State Finals consists of 3 teams who are the champions of each region of New York. They play round-robin pool play, where each team plays the other, with the 2 teams that come out on top go to the state championship match, which is best 3 out of 5. ESM went 4-0 in sets in pool play and was heading to the New York State Championship versus Spencerport.
Yeah, you know, the ball came, boom, ball went up. It's just a reaction. It's just the next thing you know, I'm going up and I'm getting a kill. And just, you know, obviously you could, from that moment, you could just see like the energy is moving around the court, the momentum is flying within us. Like nothing is gonna stop us from winning the state championship.
So Jake, what was working for you during the state finals?
Pretty much everything.
The dream 3 years ago for these seniors was to get to this moment, to play in this match in the New York State Championship. And here they were. They had an incredible season, but they just might have saved their very best volleyball for this day in November. For this moment. They were relentless. They were not letting balls hit the ground. They played balls off the ceiling. They were blocking balls at the net all match long. ESM took the first and second set, 25-22. They took a sizable lead in the third set, but Spencerport, as really good teams do, fought back. But in the end, ESM just had something special. They just simply would not be denied to bring home what they came to Albany to get. In the end, they won in 3 straight sets to become the 2021 New York State champions.
If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before?
Winning state championship, it was just like the greatest feeling ever. Like, something you don't expect. You know, not many people get to do it, and getting to see my teammates, my coaches, my parents, my friends all sharing this amazing moment with me, be able to hug everybody and just feel the emotion of you just did something that nobody else gets to do.
When I was a state champion, when I became state champion, it was memorable. I couldn't even believe it, and I was like at a loss of words. I didn't even know what to think. My mind kind of just shut down.
It's an honor. Most people don't have the opportunity to even get to the point where we got to, but we had the opportunity, and I feel like as a team we all capitalized on it, and it was just an amazing feeling to finally get the goal that we all wanted to.
Becoming a state champion was the best feeling in the world because it's been my dream to become a state champion just like my brother.
Big honor to be state champion. Worked very hard for it. Whole season. It was all great.
It just kind of felt like a dream come true. People have been talking about it since we were sophomores, and like the way it actually happened was crazy. It was just unbelievable, and it was a great experience.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. So I'll go. I will go.
Thanks, Coach, for being my biggest motivator.
Coach Kropp, I just want to say thank you for making me become a actual volleyball player and not just a practice player, and actually giving me the courage to go out on the court in front of a ton of fans and just perform how I know I can. Thank you.
Thanks, Kropp, for everything you've done for me. You know, you turned the game of volleyball into something much more special and created a family that I'll never forget, so thank you.
Thank you, Kropp, for a great season. I got a lot better this season, so thank you so much.
Hey Coach, I just wanted to say thank you. You helped me as a player find my confidence on the court, and for that I am ever grateful, so thank you.
Thank you, Kropp, for shaping the person I am today.
So I just want to thank one of my favorite coaches, Coach Kropp, probably my favorite. He told me going into one of the biggest games of our careers that nervousness was a feeling you make up, and it's a big opportunity to play in those games. And if you play in a big game, that means you gave yourself an opportunity to play in that big game, and that's what you want. And I just want to thank you for everything you did. You made me the best player you could be, and you're one of my favorite coaches, Kropp. Thank you.
All right, I just want to say a big thank you to Coach Kropp. 10th grade, had you as a travel coach, and it was at that time that we started formulating this plan to transfer over. And if it wasn't for you and the planning and the information I got, I wouldn't have been a state champion, and none of this would have been possible, so thank you.
All right, so here's the deal. We beat Comac, yeah, we did, we beat them. They scored what? 12 points, something like that. How many points, Hank?
7.
Nah, it was more than that. You wanna know why it was more than that? Because we should have held them to less than 8. Less than 8 points, Hank. But you know what you did? You know what you did? When you were passed? What is that? You gotta come in and pass. Just pass. Alright? Got you. You're fine. Of course you're fine. You are just the worst blocker I've ever seen. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you go up, you always put your hands like this, hits it, goes into the net. You're done. You're done. Christian, you know, we didn't have Nancy Wheeler today, so you did a good job. You did a good job. Mason, don't even talk to me. Shut up, Andrew Morse. Oh, sorry, I'm having flashbacks. But we need to score more points. We need to. It needs to be done. It is unacceptable. So we need to not let them get so many points because of stupid, unforced errors. We had so many today. All right, tomorrow in practice, we're going to have an extra hard practice. I was going to have a play day. But you know what? You guys messed it up. All right, let's bring it in. Get home safely. Sharks on 3, 1, 2, 3. Sharks.